Oh man. So during this like early movement of let's say I'll say the era of the 2000s. One of the greatest musicians to grace this planet, Prince Rogers Nelson. Now, what many people don't know about Prince that they knew when Charlie Murphy did the stories was about sorry about that, was about the fact of his basketball play and how efficient he was with the basketball. Now, Prince was very unique when it came to basketball. He was exceptional. So when you saw Prince, you saw a guy who could not only shake and bake and do all these different things, but no one would expect that coming from this guy. No, he did not play in heels. If anybody thought he played in heels, no, he played in flat top basketball shoes. He was what people didn't know is he was flat footed. And Prince would play in flats, like the old school rope 'em up shoes. He played in flat shoes. Didn't like none of the real popular brands. He would play in a bunch of some doggone New Balance pediatric shoes. But my friend Ryan, who's from Minnesota, tells this story, and it's so fascinating. I had to tell it. I'm like, I'm telling this story. He's like, dude, I done told a million people this story. So anyway, it goes down, and he's probably gonna watch this too, because he's like, I like the way you tell the stories in the hip hop, man. You don't hear the stories. So when you tell the story, oh man, it's gonna be epic. I'm like, but you just told me the story. You already know what goes down. He's like, I just want to hear you do it. So all the Patreons, you guys get to hear it first. So if you're watching it here on YouTube, you're late. So subscribe to the Carcino for Life Patreon if you don't want to be behind. Now, with that plug done shamelessly, Prince at this time was definitely out of his playing age and everything else. This was like 2001, 2002, I want to say. And the Minnesota Timberwolves are playing and they don't stink anymore. They're doing pretty well. Their team is like thriving. Flip Saunders has got them going. And anyway, Prince always kept an eye on the games. And there was a player he was friends with or something. Forgot his name already. The guy Tony Goldwire. I don't know if he was friends with him or I think it was Quincy Lewis. Quincy Lewis, like I guess he had some type of friendship or connection with Quincy Lewis, because I guess the coach of the University of Minnesota or whatever, he was watching the games, what have you. Anyway, so Prince goes to a game, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, Prince is watching!" But Prince at first was always like would pop in and watch a game, but he would do it from like the owner's booth. And they were like, man, this would be good publicity, and it'd do good for the team if you would, show your face. I don't want to show my face. So Prince wouldn't show his face. So the team they won a big game, I think, against the Lakers or something, and Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal, this was that team, the championship Laker team, and I think they won a game or something, and they were all excited. They went out and Prince was performing at a show, and then some of the players showed up and came out to the show. And Prince was like, well, you guys have a break because it's All-Star weekend. And we know some of you are not going to make the All-Star game. So this is your off week. It's time to play. So he's like, anybody wants to play basketball? Now, they didn't play basketball at Prince's house. They played basketball in the like practice facility of the Minnesota Timberwolves. They got permission and basically gave Prince the keys. Whenever he felt like he wanted to go practice, there he could. Prince came there with I guess his assistants and some people that was there for the Minnesota Timberwolves who, just was not finna like make this the press. So I guess from what I was told, Quincy Lewis, Anthony Goldwire or whatever was there, and no, it was Anthony Goldwire. I think the first time around. Damn it! How could I forget the story? Anthony Goldwire was there. I don't think Spreewell was there yet, but it was Goldwire and it was some other players. Now, and Goldwire was guarding Prince, and he's really buff dude. He about 6'1". Prince is really shorter than him, and Prince was taking him off the dribble and drive, stop, pull up, jump shot, drive, stop, pull up, jump shot, drive, stop, and it was like old fashioned jump, like somebody who could professionally shoot a basketball. You didn't see that type of form, and he was not ready for Prince's quickness. Prince was so quick. It was it was like he was saying, like Allen Iverson. Prince was blowing by Goldwire. And one of the assistants who was there, who, was supervising, locking the place up, opening the place, he was watching this and said, man, if you can't guard Prince, I don't think we're going to do good with Goldwire. And when it was done, and Prince's, that's how you're going to guard me. Goldwire was like, oh, okay, I'm going to get for real. Now I'm getting serious. So he got the body Prince, all that muscle, and you're still not strong. You're eating the wrong things. Prince blows right by him, goes baseline, hits a reverse layup on the other side of the glass. Kid you not. When he told that story, he said when Prince hit that move, everybody was stunned. And Goldwire was like, oh, you've been practicing. And he's like, but you got to guard me on the other end. And Prince played full court press defense on Anthony Goldwire. And dogged him. And this wasn't the first time this has happened. Like the next season, his friend Quincy Lewis, that he was friends with, they got some of the guys together and they played a little shoot around. And Prince wanted to come to the facility to, shoot around. So they let Prince come in, shoot around whenever he felt like it. And Quincy Lewis, Prince wanted to shoot and play. And at this time, when he played Quincy Lewis, I think the Minnesota, they were on the verge of, like, they had just won 50 games for the first time in team history. Like they had cracked 50 games. They were like really good. Goldwire was, I think he was traded. It wasn't too long after that. After playing against Prince, I guess they saw what they needed to see right there. Like he can't even hold Prince. So Prince played, I believe they said the story is Prince played in a game and they played, Prince was like, I want to get 5, you get 5. We're going to play a regulation game. I want to play a real game, not a scrimmage. I want pick and rolls. I want a regular game. So they actually played a game. It was former Minnesota players. Quincy Lewis was there from the University of Minnesota. He played on the Timberwolves. Some other Timberwolves players was there. I don't know. I do not finna just yell out the names, and I don't know. He said the names. Ryan said the names. I just can't remember. I don't know if it was Sam Cassell or Latrice Sprewell. It's one or the other. They were there, and it was not a good. It was not a good day. Prince scored 45 points. He said Prince scored 45 points and probably had at least 20 assists. He said, "I kid you not. Prince had 45 points and had about 20 assists." And he said, "I could be exaggerating the assists, but he's like, I doubt it. If anybody was keeping tabs on anything, was the points." Prince scored the first 10 points of the game, period. Nobody had scored yet. Prince scored the first 10. So he's like, so right there, he had 10 points just to start the game off. And he wanted to play full regulation, time limits, everything. Someone watching the clock. He wanted to play a simulated game. Like, it wasn't like guys was out there trying to break their neck like it was the NBA Finals, but it's a game, with Prince. Quite sure people didn't want to hit Prince. Like, if they gave him a full NBA experience, giving him a forearm, he's about like 135. So if they'd have gave him a real forearm to the chest, so it's not like, oh, Prince could have went to the NBA and then he would have dominated. No, he had the skills and ability to. Prince was very well, could have went to college and developed his body into being an NBA basketball player, but he did not have the physicality. So if the game was played at the regular rate of an NBA game where people are hitting him with pick and rolls and bumping him, who knows, the grind of an NBA season would take a toll on him. All you got to do is look at a NBA veteran's hands and you see how mangled it is. Like their fingers all disformed, everything. And it's part of the game, from having your fingers swiped at and the ball hitting your fingers and jamming your fingers up. We've done that in pickup games. I don't know how many times. Ball hit your finger coming in, somebody throwing the ball, an idiot throwing the ball wrong. You know how many times that happened in the NBA and they just tape you up and put you back out there? Dislocated fingers, jam fingers. So that life, and Prince is a musician. His hands are important. He was a musician. So that's his instrument. So you wouldn't want to ruin that. For any means necessary, would you want to ruin that? Prince was about a 90% free throw shooter. 90. He wouldn't miss. The way he was taught basketball was how it was taught back in the 70s and 80s. The same way, point guard, if he couldn't get to the rim because it was normally filled with centers, they would pull up and shoot a mid range jump shot. Mid range jumpers are almost like non existent in today's league because there's no one there in the paint to stop them. Now, as you've seen, Mitchell got a 5 year, supermax of 195 million with Utah. We all knew he wasn't going anywhere. Was it going to be a big? Where's he going? With Mitchell, they were going to make sure he stays a Utah Jazz forever. Prince would have wanted to play for Minnesota. That's it. He wouldn't want to go anywhere else. Maybe if the Lakers would have signed, hey, come sign me. You know, if he'd have signed the clutch, then he would have got on there no problems. No questions asked. He would have been right there. But yeah, Prince Rogers Nelson definitely was a true to heart basketball player. You know, old school as he was, he knew how to shoot the rock and he had speed. Even in the early 2000s, he still possessed speed and quickness. So Charlie Murphy's story is completely validated. And it's ironic that, Prince isn't here anymore, Charlie's not here, Rick James isn't here, all those stories that was told. And now all three of them are probably just sharing stories together. Anyway, it's your boy Carcino. I'm out.